What's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to Titan's Reviews. I'm your host, Titan, and we're here today to talk about House of X, #1. Here we go. House of X, #1. And this is not your grandpa's X-Men anymore. This is written by Jonathan Hickman, and it is amazing. It is amazing. So we're introduced to Charles Xavier, and he's just basically walking around with this helmet type cerebro on his head, and he's basically resurrecting people from some tree roots and stuff like that. So you're like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Like, I've never seen anything like this with the X-Men, you know what I'm saying? So it kind of gets you out there thinking right off the bat as soon as you open the book. And so Jonathan Hickman goes on to write about basically X-Men are on a mission right now, and they're planting flowers of Krakoa all over certain spots, like on the blue side of the moon and on like the other side of the earth, or where is it? Excuse me. On the blue area of the moon and Mars, and the habitat in Jerusalem. And yeah, they're just planting these flowers all over the place. They're called flowers of Krakoa, and they're going around certain spots of the universe and Earth, planting these things. And what they are basically portals. Once these plants grow to full adulthood, they turn into portals where you're able to portal from one area where there's a flower at to another area where there's another flower at. So basically, they're only grown on the island of Krakoa, which is in X-Men history. Krakoa was an island only for X-Men, right? It started off like that, but then it was explained later on down the line that Krakoa was an actual mutant. So the island of Krakoa is actually a mutant. It's a living being. So, you know what I'm saying? It's a crazy concept. But yeah, basically all the mutants live there on the island of Krakoa, you know what I'm saying? So that's a quick history rundown. So then they basically go straight to a meeting that's going on. You got some humans here that have been all gathered together, and they get an invite to, not to the island of Krakoa, but they get an invite by Magneto himself. And Magneto is basically there to take them on a tour of some place right now. You know what I'm saying? So they're walking around, and Magneto shows up, and he's got a couple other mutants with him. But yeah, then it goes into these little things now. Right now, these things actually have a cipher. I haven't figured it out yet, but basically all of these things they go into a quick explanation about a drug that the mutants were able to create using the island of Krakoa, basically. And then one of the drugs is human drug L, and that one extends the life of humans by 5 years. The second drug is human drug I, and this one, it makes an adaptive universal antibiotic, basically a super drug for humans, you know what I'm saying? So if you got cancer, it heals cancer. If you got any kind of sicknesses, it'll heal it for you. And then the third drug, it cures all the diseases of the mind in humans. So if you have like schizophrenia, or you have some kind of depression, anxiety problems, paranoia, this last drug will cure the minds for humans. But in mutants, it has a different effect. So in mutants, they utilize that same drug for basically the gateway. So that's tying in those flowers of cocoa into the drug being created like that. So you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's crazy. But then we got there's a mutant named Cypher, and he's over here basically communicating with the island of Krakoa. And there goes Jean Grey, and they're calling her Miss Marvel in here. So you're like kind of like, wait, why are they calling Jean Grey Miss Marvel? And why do all these X-Men look different? And it's kind of throwing you off, you know what I mean? You got Wolverine over here playing with kids, laughing, and you're like, wait. Now, I know Wolverine, he likes kids and all that stuff, but that can't be my Wolverine right there playing with kids and being all happy. I never seen Wolverine like that. And yeah, so just got this like idea of like, this is not your normal X-Men already off the bat, you know what I mean? And all these little scenes here and there going on, and you're like, whoa, this is crazy, you know what I mean? So from there it starts talking about a new group called Orchis, and basically Orchis is derived of groups like AIM, SHIELD, Hammer, Sword, even some Hydra agents. They all basically gathered together basically to monitor what's going on with the mutant population. Everything that's going on financially, where they're at in the world, and what kind of political influences they might have on the world and stuff. So that's why this Orchis thing was created, so they could keep an eye on all mutant kind. And like I said, this is basically Orchis in space. And what I'm thinking right now, I'm thinking that is a mother mold of some sorts for the Sentinels. You know what I mean? But yeah. Then it goes on to explain. This book is really in depth. You know what I'm saying? It goes on to explain what Orchis is and what their protocols are and all that stuff. So Jonathan Hickman goes really deep into explaining all these new aspects of the X-Men that we've never seen before. You know what I mean? And in the next scene, you got Mystique, Sabretooth, and Toad. They break into what's it called? Damage Control. And I don't know if you guys ever heard of Damage Control in Marvel Comics, but you guys ever seen Spider-Man Homecoming, you know who Damage Control is. The Vulture guy was working for Damage Control at the beginning of the Spider-Man Homecoming movie, right? So those guys go around, and after the big superhero wars, they collect up all the debris, information, files, all stuff like that, and they keep it in one centralized area. You know what I'm saying? So that's where Mystique and Sabretooth and Toad are at right now. They break in there and they steal a couple files, and they get met by the Fantastic Four. Fantastic Four, yes. The Fantastic Four are in the X-Men House of X, right? Man, the Fantastic Four gets in there and they start getting into a tussle, you know what I mean? And basically, Cyclops shows up out of nowhere, and wait, I jumped a little too far, but from there, from that little tussle, it goes on to back to Magneto, showing these humans around the area, you know what I mean? So he's got a telepath with him, and she basically reads all the minds of the humans that are there. And some of the humans don't want to be at that meeting. They were basically forced to be at that meeting. So she's reading all their minds, telling Magneto what's going on with them. You know what I mean? And Magneto's like, yeah, I figured, basically, you know what I'm saying? She's like, this one has a gun. And Magneto takes away the gun and stuff. And the human goes to explain, oh, well, it was just for my protection. And Magneto's like, yeah, it's always like that. It's always just for your protection. You know what I mean? So Magneto's already game on them, you know what I mean? And as they keep on walking along, you know, it cuts back to that battle between the Fantastic Four, Mystique, Sabretooth, Toad, you know what I mean? And they're battling, and Mystique and all of them are trying to run to one of those portals I told you about that was made with the flowers of Krakoa. So, and as soon as the portal opens, Mystique and Toad make it out, but Sabretooth gets caught up by the Fantastic Four, and then all of a sudden, then Cyclops shows up out of the portal, and he's like, "What's up, guys? How y'all doing?" You know what I'm saying? Can I get Sabretooth back? And I'm like, yo, and everyone's like, what? You know what I mean? Like, hold up. This Sabretooth, he just killed a couple people and wrecked our stuff, you know what I mean? How you gonna ask for him back, you know what I mean? And it's like, hold up, this is Cyclops asking for Sabretooth back, you know what I'm saying? Don't, you know what I'm saying? He's not even gonna negotiate with them, because basically the mutants are a sovereign nation now, you know what I'm saying? That they're their own nation, and they're trying to figure out how diplomacy works, you know what I'm saying? But now it's all the villains and the good guys, you know what I'm saying, that were mutants. Now they all coalesced into one habitat. So, you know what I mean? That's why Cyclops is over here picking up Sabretooth like, yo, I need him back. He's got to come back to Krakoa with us. And the Fantastic Four are like, nah, he just did a couple, you know, he broke a couple laws and all this stuff. But Cyclops is like, I don't really want to have a problem with you guys. So you're just going to let him go home with us. And then boom. So Cyclops takes him home with them, and you're like, wow, this story is just mind-bending. Then there's some more breakdowns of what's going on in the mutant world. But then it cuts back to Magneto, and this is the part where I was telling you, he took the gun away from the human right there and breaks it apart. Awesome artwork. Gorgeous. Beautiful, beautiful. But yeah. So by the time, you know, he takes the gun and all that stuff, he lets them know. He tells the humans, yo, let them know, let your leaders know, let the presidents and all those guys know, hey, we're your gods now. We don't fall under your rule. We don't fall under your laws and nothing. So you're like, man, House of X #1. If you can get your hands on a copy of this right now, because it's been out for about a month now. And like, by the way, next episode we'll go over House of X. No, we're gonna actually go over Powers of X #1, because this comic book coincides with House of X. So this one was also written by Jonathan Hickman. But since I don't want the video to be too long, I'm going to go ahead and go over Powers of X next time, or Powers of 10, whichever one you want to call it. I like Powers of X. But I told you guys, you're not ready for this right now. You're not ready for this. This is not your grandma and grandpa's X-Men. This is not these guys. This is not your X-Men, y'all, okay? This is House of X. And as we go along, reading along with this, I'm going to continue blowing your mind. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the video today. I hope you guys enjoyed the story of House of X. It's getting exciting. It's really like, where's Jonathan Hickman going with this story? And you're just like ready to get more and more into the story. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, thanks for joining me for another episode of Titans Review, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.